Jordan has won it. A spectacular move. It is Michael Jordan.
Every era has its legends, but when it comes to basketball, one question refuses to die. Who is the greatest of all time, LeBron James or Michael Jordan? It's a debate that fueled barbershop arguments, split friend groups, and dominated sports media for over a decade. And after LeBron's legendary 2016 final comeback against the 73-9 Warriors, that fire only burned hotter. But let's take a step back and ask a different question on that's less about who wins and more about why it matters. Does the GOAT debate actually matter at all? To find out, we are going to break it all down, not just who scores more points or wins more championships, but what GOAT really means, how greatness is measured, and why this conversation might reveal more about us, our values, and even our memories than about either player themselves. So, first, let's answer the simple question: what exactly is the GOAT? GOAT stands for Greatest of All Time, but it's not just a label for the most talented or flashy player. It's a title earned through a delicate mix of dominance, influence, and longevity. In sport, it's about more than just stats. It's about leaving an imprint that lasts, about shaping the culture of the game, and inspiring generations long after the final buzzer. Basketball makes it even trickier. It's not something you can measure entirely on a spreadsheet. Every dunk, every clutch shot, every defensive stop carries emotion, context, and a story that numbers alone can capture. That's why the GOAT debate is always messy, heated, and endlessly fascinating. To make sense of it, we need a framework, a fair lens through which to judge greatness. Most fans, analysts, and even players themselves use 5 key factors: accomplishments, the trophies, awards, and recognitions that define a player's career. Longevity is the ability to stay at the top of the game for years, sometimes decades. Winning championships, playoff dominance, and clutch performance. Statistics, the numbers that measure consistency, efficiency, and impact. And finally, the eye test, the unquantifiable feeling, the aura, the moments that make you stop, stare, and just know greatness when you see it. Breaking this down will give us a clearer picture, not just of the players themselves, but of what we value in greatness, how we remember legends, and why debates like this captivate us generation after generation. In sports, debates are part of the DNA. They fuel our conversations, drive our passions, and give meaning to the numbers on a scoreboard. Yet no discussion burns hotter than the battle over basketball's GOAT, the greatest of all time, Michael Jordan and LeBron James. Two names that stand above the rest not just as players but as symbols of greatness itself, separated by generations, yet forever intertwined. One defined dominance in the 1990s while the other redefined in the 2000s and beyond. And as the years go by, the debate becomes less about who won more and more about what greatness really means. The GOAT debate is more than a basketball argument. It's a mirror reflecting what we value most in life. Some say greatness is perfection, 6 finals, 6 rings, 6 finals MVPs, while others say it's endurance, 20 plus years of excellence, leadership, and the ability to evolve with the game itself. For Jordan, greatness was domination, mastering every opponent until there was nothing left to prove. For LeBron, greatness is transformation, pushing boundaries, adapting to every era, carrying expectations heavier than any before him. But the debate isn't only about stats or trophies, it's about identity, about how we define success, legacy, and even time itself. Every generation has its hero. For some, Jordan is the pure essence of basketball talent, will, triumph. For others, LeBron is the embodiment of evolution, resilience, intelligence, leadership in a game that never stops changing. So when we argue about who's the GOAT, are we really arguing about two players or about two visions of greatness? To understand it, we have to go back to where it began. Brooklyn, New York, 1963. Michael Jeffrey Jordan is born. Akron, Ohio, 1984. LeBron Raymond James enters the world. Two boys from different worlds, facing different obstacles, both destined for the same conversation. Before the legend came the lesson. Jordan, cut from his high school varsity team, turned rejection into fuel. By 1994 he was a national star at North Carolina and soon a Chicago Bull. The world didn't know it yet, but basketball was about to change forever. Jordan wasn't just good, he was transcendent. By his third season he averaged more than 37 points a game, but his power wasn't in numbers, it was in the feeling he gave you. Watching Jordan wasn't like watching a game, it was like watching poetry that could dunk. He became more than a player and an icon. 6 championships, 2 3-peats, undefeated in the finals. For many, that's where the debate ends. The man never failed on the biggest stage and walked away on top twice. But even legends cast long shadows. Fast forward nearly 2 decades, a kid from Akron, raised by a single mother, carried the weight of expectations before he could even vote. LeBron James wasn't just the next big thing, he was the chosen one. Imagine being 17, gracing Sports Illustrated, the world already calling you the future of basketball. Unlike Jordan, LeBron entered the league with cameras already rolling, every move magnified, every failure analyzed, competing not only against players but against a myth. And through it all, he thrived. 4 championships, 4 final MVPs, the NBA's all-time leading scorer, multiple franchises lifted to glory. His true greatness lies not just in statistics but in adaptability. He's been the villain in Miami, the returning son in Cleveland, the veteran leader in Los Angeles. Through constant change, new rules, super teams, and social media, he remained dominant. If Jordan defined an era, LeBron outlasted them all. Every debate needs numbers, but numbers never tell the whole story. Jordan's 6-0 finals record, 5 MVPs, 10 scoring titles versus LeBron's 4 rings, 4 MVPs, all-time scoring crown, top 10 in assists, Jordan's perfection against LeBron's longevity, the unblemished record versus the unrelenting pursuit. Jordan's career burned like a comet, brilliant, brief, unforgettable. LeBron's like a star that never fades, steady, enduring, impossible to ignore. Jordan showed how high you can fly. LeBron showed how far you can go. Greatness isn't only measured in points or titles, it's measured in impact. Jordan became a global phenomenon. The shows, the logo, the swagger turning basketball into culture itself. In the 1990s, he wasn't just the face of the NBA, he was the NBA. He inspired athletes, artists, and dreamers worldwide. Every kid wanted to be like Mike. LeBron, meanwhile, represents a different kind of influence. He's not just a player, he's a voice. He built schools, spoke out beyond basketball, and used his platform for change. Jordan showed us how to dominate the game. LeBron showed us how to transcend it. And yet the debate rages on stats compared, rings counted, quotes dissected, because deep down we all want to know. The truth is, ranking greatness has become its own sport, our way of connecting to the game and each other, but it's something we'll never get quite right. How do you measure influence, fear, respect, the feeling when a player takes over a game? You can't. The GOAT debate reflects our values. Jordan for perfection and mastery, LeBron for endurance and growth. Each side really says the same thing in different ways. This is what greatness looks like to me. Maybe the part we forget most often is the human side of all this. Both men gave everything to basketball. Sweat, pain, sacrifice. Behind every record and highlight was a story of doubt and drive. Jordan fought for respect in an era that demanded toughness. LeBron carried the burden of expectation from day one. Different eras, different battles, the same relentless hunger for greatness. Maybe we can't choose between them because both represent pieces of ourselves. Jordan reminds us the pursuit of perfection that fires to be the absolute best. LeBron reminds us of resilience, the power to evolve and keep going no matter what. Together they form something bigger than rivalry. They represent our shared desire to be remembered. Every generation wants its hero, every era wants to believe it witnessed the greatest. That's why the GOAT debate never ends, because it keeps basketball alive even after the final buzzer. And that's the real magic of it. It's not about who has more rings or who's better at 38, it's about how deeply these players make us feel. Ranking NBA players is honestly kind of useless, but it's also really fun. Every fan has made their own top 10 lists, argued with friends, or gone down a YouTube rabbit hole defending their guy. It's become an unofficial tradition, a celebration of the game itself. We all want to define greatness, to wrap it in numbers and make it absolute, but basketball is emotional, subjective, human. No matter how many stats we analyze, there will always be another argument because greatness isn't an equation, it's a story, and stories don't end, they evolve. Jordan wrote the book, LeBron added new chapters. Someday someone else will continue it, another star, another era, another reason to fall in love with the game. Each new generation will bring its heroes, its debates, its moments that remind us why we care it in the first place. So maybe the GOAT debate doesn't really matter, maybe it never did, because what truly matters is what we get to witness it, to see Jordan fly, to see LeBron rise, to feel, if only for a moment, what greatness looks like. And if that isn't greatness, then what it is? So, does the GOAT debate matter? Yes, but maybe not in the way we think. It's not about proving who's better, it's about appreciating two different paths to greatness. Jordan's dominance embodied the ultimate closer, the relentless competitor who never flinched. LeBron's longevity personified the all-around genius who's redefined that prime even means. Jordan inspired a generation to dream. LeBron empowered a generation to believe they could do it their own way. So instead of fighting over who's the god, maybe it's time to celebrate that we got to witness both the king and the heir, the fire and the endurance, the story and the sequel. So what do you think? Is there really a single god, or does greatness evolve with every era? Drop your take in the comments below, but keep it respectful. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to like, share and subscribe, because debates fade, but legends, they live forever.